Hello, everybody, and welcome to Round 6 of the NRG Championship. We have Mitch Weisrock on the right, excuse me. We're going to swap those real quickly. Swap players on the sides there. He is playing the Golgari Undergrowth deck in Standard. We had Standard as the format for the final round of the round robin, round 5. And the last rounds of the day will all be Standard. That'll going to be the deciding matches for the top 8. We have 4 winners of their pods already in the top 4, and then the last few players will be playing a final round to make their seat. Looks like Mitch Weisrock's going to be on the play with a green-black tapped land. Reed Splett planes into the Snubhorn Sentry.
No, that's Snubhorn Sentries, boy. That's a card where if you were just overlooking kind of the history of Magic and you said, okay, in the current era, this is our 1-drop, it has no power and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
That would, it's not impressive, but shortly it will grow into a pretty sizable,
might shock a few of you.
Threat.
Yeah. It is the 0/3 Dino. If you've ascended, it has a +3 power. So Wild and the Cattle, that takes a little bit of work.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So Mitch Weisrock's turn 2 after his tap land, turn 2 Stitcher Supplier, has no follow-up second land, and Reed Splett with the turn 3 Benalia on the curve might just run away with this one.
Wait, I thought that the Boros Aggro deck might get out ahead of the Undergrowth deck, but I thought it would take more effort than this. This is going to be unfortunate if we just go to... We kept to 7. We'll find out if he was on 7 or not.
It was 7 on the play.
It looked like it was 7, and... Oh, okay, so he had Glowspore Shaman, which he was anticipating would be his 3rd.
Okay.
But that's rough. If he's sitting on, Stitcher and Necrotic Wound, that's obviously a pair of 1-mana spells he can play to try and stay in the game. But missing your land drop here... I mean, he only missed it once. We'll see if that ends up being too much.
Reed Splett on turn 4 here, already very close to having the City's Blessing, which he now will. Heroic Reinforcement is going to create him 2 tokens, give all of his creatures +1/+1, and giving them haste. Going to pull out that City's Blessing token. Going to be crashing in for a lot of damage just this turn.
This is... Yeah, I don't know. Are we already reaching a point where Mitchell's not going to be able to recover?
It's very hard to tell. Being on 2 mana, basically this is what aggro decks thrive on. They're going to take advantage of your stumble. Mitch might get a couple of trades in here with his 3/1 Glowspore, but it's not looking great. Going to think about which one he goes for the block on. Whether or not he wants to go for a trade or soak up some more damage.
He has to trade, but... Boy. Sorry, we're stumbling a little bit here getting the Cardboard Live extensions. I think it's live for you guys now.
Yep.
If you want to check that out. So you can see the deck lists alongside us. Which may not be relevant for too much longer, at least in this game. We might be moving to sideboards fairly soon.
Absolutely. Glowspore Shaman will trade with a Knight token.
There we go. So we had life total 22 to 10. And then history is going to ultimate more or less this turn. I mean, Mitchell is adding a creature each turn or killing a creature, but Reed is putting 2 creatures into play each turn or more. And this is that's just the math does not add up there.
History of Benalia will reach Chapter 3, and I believe there were no Knights in play to be pumped this turn. Didn't really matter, though. Aggressive Lava Coil. Guess the card's not really going to do much anyway. Going to go for the swing in.
Why is it aggressive? He killed the biggest creature on the board.
You're not wrong.
It's not his fault that Lava Coil had nothing worthwhile to destroy.
This Lava Coil is what we call
exile.
A pseudo Searing Blaze, right? It kills a creature, and it's actually getting in for more damage because he's not going to be able to exactly block, right?
Yeah. Oh, and Adanto flips over. So now we can generate some tokens. Conveniently, we have the mana available for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitchell is... Yikes. He's not even an effective block here. He's at 4. He draws a land. I mean, even Chupacabra going to stabilize. Okay, 2 more. That's something.
Double Crawl Harpooner.
Let's see. What does he need here? There is a Crawl Forgers in his deck. There's 1. So if he finds his 5th land next turn, there is a lot of life to be gained.
Let's pull up Crawl Foragers on camera for everybody at home. One of the cards that Mitch is definitely trying to get to here. Reed Splett might just be going for another all-out attack. Reminder, the Snubboard Sentry does have the City's Blessing. It is a 3/3. Crawl Harpooner going to jump in front of that Snubboard Sentry very quickly and try to get that trade in. Yep, going to damage here. Player's going to get that taken care of. Crawl Forager's still a live draw for Mr. Mitchell, who will be hoping to gain a bunch of life from that one. The 4/4 body, not too shabby itself.
Can we talk about how ridiculous it is that this card is actually in a constructed deck?
Is playable, apparently.
Yeah. This is, again, I was talking about how the Snowboard Sentry didn't seem like a constructed card if you look at the whole history of Magic. Crawl Forager's in the same boat. This is kind of a limited... This is a card that you're okay cutting from your limited deck.
Now, do we think this is a sign of a really great standard format where the pool is so deep you can reach in and find cards like this?
I think it's nice that you can use unique cards and to do different things. And this isn't even a huge standard format. We still have, I believe, another set or two to add before anything will rotate out. So we're
absolutely,
yeah. But so
Splett will get the final attack in, and Mitch Weisrock scoops him up.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, the Crawl Foragers was really the only hope there, and even then, it destroyed. That was not one that Mitchell is going to show off probably.
Reaching for the sideboards, one of the things that stick out to me is 3 Ajani Adversary of Tyrants for Reed Splett over there. Obviously, Planeswalker is going to be very, very relevant cards against any of these mid-range and/or control decks. Does he go for all 3 copies, or what are we thinking, Joe?
I mean, I think Ajani is one thing that is talked about is Ajani is very good at just recurring your Tocatl Honor Guard when he gets killed, and those are most definitely coming in also.
Oh yeah,
3 of those, because those shut down a good tremendous number of Mitchell's creatures, including most importantly probably the Ravenous Chupacabra.
Right.
The Crawl Forges, if it happens to come into play, the Harp, everything. It wipes out everything. So the Johnnies could come in, which is a nice card on its own, but also protects the Tocatl Honor Guard. I would say that Reed has a good number of options here. I don't think we'll see the slower cards, Experimental Frenzy. I don't think we'll see some of them. The Tajik isn't have any real purpose here.
Sure.
But so I think we will see maybe those the Honor Guards. I think we'll probably see all of them at Johnny in some number, maybe not all 3.
Yeah, the Honor Guard's really interesting card from Ixalan, kind of a torpor orb with legs. The card was from Ixalan, but really discovered this past summer as a hedge against the humans decks in Modern. Right, a lot of the cards in those decks have the come in and play abilities, but with the new standard and this Golgari mid-range presence, very strong card in that matchup. Basically, every single one of their creatures exists to come into play, generate value, and 187, as they say. Tocatli Honor Guard, definitely a card that Reed is going to be looking at in this game too.
We actually saw some in Modern this afternoon.
Okay.
Sideboarded in against Amulet Titan.
Oh, nice.
Because it
was it out of the Boggles deck?
It was in the Boggles sideboard. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The Boggles deck ended up losing, but the Honor Guard kept it alive for quite a few turns more than it would have otherwise.
Yeah. When Titan is only a 6/6 with Trample, it's not quite a Modern playable card.
Yeah. Now Mitchell has. Looking at Mitchell's sideboard, I think we're just going for anything that gains life or kills up something.
Ritual of Soot's a big one here.
Ritual of Soot is a nice one. Reclamation Sage, maybe. I mean, it can kill history. So if you save yourself a token and the pump, like that's probably worthwhile. Deathcore Scavenger, definitely going to come in, I would think, just for something that will probably trade and gain life at the same time. And
if Reed does have the Tocatli Honor Guard, Mitch can always just kill it with a Ravenous Chupacabra. Never mind.
No, that won't work. So he's going to he has a Cast Down the Sideboard, Necrotic Wound, one of each, along with the rituals. All that's going to come in. All that kills Honor Guard, Necrotic Wound might not kill it instantaneously, but it's going to hopefully kill it at some point in the game once things have traded off. And I think we're looking at, can we gain life? Can we kill Honor Guard? Although we're talking about ways to deal with the sideboard cards.
Right.
We have to also deal with the fact that we just got trounced in game 1. So we have to sideboard against his sideboard and his main deck. So there's a lot of work to be done here for Mitchell.
I think a lot of the trouncing may have been might have something to do with Mitchell stumbling on 1 mana there.
Right. Yeah. Certainly a step towards having more success in game 2 would be to keep a hand that actually plays a land on turn 2.
I think that is Mitch. It's going to be a bold strategy for Mitch. Keeping a keepable hand there.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who keeps sketchy hands regularly in other formats, it's rough when especially when you're going first. He wasn't even going second, I believe, right? He was on the play in game.
He's on the play. Didn't get the extra draw step.
Yeah, that is tough. I know he had a couple turn 1 plays, but are we really thinking that if we miss, because it's not like we're even a 50-50 shot to hit a land on turn 2,
right?
And are we? I mean, I know we all like to have a 7-card hand. We all like to keep. We don't want to miss. We want to have stuff to do. We don't want to. This match matters. The loser of this match is out of the tournament. We don't want to risk, because we can't. I've said this before on my stream. You can't, everyone's terrified of going to 5, right? And you can't go to 5 if you don't go to 6 in the first place.
Yeah.
On the other hand, sometimes you keep 7 and get absolutely run over, which we just saw, and we really.
It's true.
Yeah, and so we're in the same spot. Okay, and that looks like Mitchell immediately went to mulligan this game.
Learning his lesson, Mitchell will. Reed Splett on the other side, going to keep his 7. We talked about the 2 copies of what we consider, Draft Chaff, Crawl, Foragers, going to be a life gain spell. He has 2 more in the sideboard. The other life gain card in the sideboard I'm curious about is the Death Gorge Scavenger. We still bring that one in too, just for some life gain?
I think we definitely do. I mean, there's some creature will trade. We'll play that maybe on turn 3, maybe on turn 4. We'll gain 2 life, and then we'll trade again. And I think that's a pretty good exchange for any creature. Like, if Mitchell can trade while gaining life, that's great.
Right.
He does, because a number of Reed's cards create 2 creatures.
Right.
Mitchell doesn't have that. So if his creatures can trade and gain life, that's not quite the same as having 2 creatures, but it's something. It's a way for him to get more than just.
See Mitch going down to 5. I was pretty sure that was that was probably 1 land. It might have been 0 lands. I'm not entirely sure what I saw there. But he is straight down to 5, and Reed Splett is pumping the fist inside.
Yeah, so now not only we can't trade even anymore. We need our cards to be straight 2-for-1s, and we need 2 of them just to break even.
Oh yeah.
And Reed already. We're in a bad situation here for Mitchell. This is
gonna be playing catch up.
He's got to be frustrated. He's got to be hoping for. What are we even hoping for here? We're hoping for Citrus Supplier, Necrotic Wound, Death Gorge Scavenger, and then a couple more land, Chupacabra, Crawl Forward. We need a curve. We hit our lands, and we need the right cards to catch up at this point.
Yeah, Citrus Supplier on turn 1 to really get his engine going is going to be huge. Wow.
Okay.
This is.
We did have. Now let's just say.
Technically, Peter Tragos won on a mold of 3.
We did have a win on 3 earlier in the tournament. That was in Modern, and it's a unique scenario and unlikely to be repeated in a normal event. But we did have a win on turn 3. I mean, I'm sorry, not a win on turn 3. A win on a mold of 3.
Mold of 3.
So maybe Mitchell saw that and was like,
"He's
if
inspired.
Peter can do it, I can do it too."
He's inspired.
Exactly. Mitchell, this is. I don't know if this is quite the strategy we want to be emulating here. But you got to do what you got to do, and let's see. Can we at least...
There's lands in that hand.
Can we hit a land drop? I mean, this is the kind of thing where you look at the 4, you look at the first one. If it's a land you keep, you don't even need to see the rest.
Exactly.
And we hit a land. Okay, no 1 drop from Reed. That's something. We have 2 lands. That looks like
I think Mitch's hand is all lands, actually.
Well, that's better than... zero. Oh, no.
Sideboard card.
This is just...
Sideboard card on curve for Reed.
Okay.
It's going to be a 2/1 Merfolk that will not explore.
Yeah, the Branchwalker doesn't do its thing. We're already...
Ooh. Reed getting frisky. Attack for 1. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's got another one in his hand, I think. And here's... Oh, boy.
Legions landed.
I'm sorry. If you're friends with Mitchell or family or really anyone rooting for him and you're hearing me giggle at his misfortune here, I'm sorry. There's not much
it's just
that
sympathy.
really he can do. It's
just sympathy.
He's just getting shellacked. And there's... I mean, maybe if we combine his Game 1 and Game 2 hands, then we'd be able to stand up to this onslaught.
Yep.
Maybe. I mean, certainly we'd have enough land and enough spells, so yeah, we'd be looking at a better chance there, but I don't know that we're very likely to be going to a Game 3 this round.
And attack for 5 there from Reed Splett. Going to flip that Legion's Landing, and Reed acting very quickly at this point. Super happy with what's going on. Mitchell will create a 2/1 blocker for 3 mana, no come into play ability, thanks to the Chakali Honor Guard.
Yeah, I mean, and the
landing already
Adanto's
flipped.
already flipped over anyway. So,
Yeah.
so really, in this particular, so Mitchell can kind of cheer a little bit because the Honor Guard didn't actually disrupt him this turn because the regular stage wasn't going to do anything anyway.
Sure.
So that's, and there goes. I'm
Reed's
sorry,
gonna-
I'm just sighing here as each blow is piled up on Mitchell Weisrock here.
Reed's going to rub his face into it, lava coil your blocker, get in for a bunch of damage.
Trade for a token.
Right.
And like we were saying, we need the creatures to have come into play effects to make trade off for the fact that Reed's getting multiple creatures for 1 card, and the Honor Guard is preventing that. We're probably close to a concession here.
Definitely
And-
have to hand it to Mitchell, by the way. He's keeping his composure. He's just, all right, let's play it out.
Is that a Midnight Reaper?
It is.
A Midnight Reaper is on the board, which actually functions as intended, even though Takalo Honor Guard's on the board.
That is true.
Yeah, so we have something going here.
Mitch might draw a card.
He might draw. Yeah, well the Honor Guard held back. That's something. The Honor Guard did not come to battle this turn. The Midnight Reaper holds off, saves us the damage. We take.
Reaper will block one of the vampire tokens.
Mm-hmm. And there's a History of Benalia. Okay, Midnight Reaper. We need to do some work here. You need to team up with some other card in the deck that also doesn't have it. And it's done.
Mitch will show his final lands. A little bit of mana troubles in game 1. A little bit of too much mana after a mulligan down to 4 for Mitchell Weisrock in game 2. Reed Splett will win his round 6 match against Mitch Weisrock, and he is in your top 8.